Hello everybody, it's Wendy, and isn't this a beautiful mix of colors right here? I love this. It is called a peacock mix because it is purple, dark purple, teal, and royal blue. And I think that it is just stunning. So what I'm doing today is I am making a purse dangle. Well, I guess it can be a purse dangle. It could be a keychain. It could be a backpack dangle. I mean, it could be anything that you want to hook it onto. But I am making this to send to somebody, and so I thought while I was putting it together, I would just go ahead and do a tutorial on it because these are so much fun, and you can use up like your big focal beads in this. You can use lampwork glass. So if you look at these, I've got a large hole bead here. And I just took bicones. If you use bicones with large hole beads and you make your loop tight on the top, the large hole bead won't go anywhere. So that's a great way to use large hole beads. This is a little flower that came with some Jesse James stuff, and I've just put it on a chain. This is a polymer clay tube bead that Shirley from Budget Bead Box sent me. This is a polymer clay bead that Heidi Blankenship made. It's handmade. Isn't it gorgeous? What else do I have here? Another large hole bead with bicones. Some lampwork glass that is just really pretty here. Here's a heart. Yeah, a bunch of lampwork glass beads. Here's a dragonfly charm. I've got several dragonfly charms in here. And just some sparkly beads. Now this is a polymer clay bead also that Heidi made. This big ball, I don't know where it came from, but I think it's really pretty. So yeah, I've just got various dangles. I've used bead caps on some of them. I've used spacer beads on others, but I tried to stay within this peacock color palette, okay? So you're going to need just a bunch of bead dangles, and I'm going to show you how I make my bead dangle here in a minute, but like I said, just a bunch of bead dangles. Like I've got probably 30 here, I don't know, but I got a bunch. Then you're going to need, this is a key ring and a big hook that I got from Hobby Lobby, and these came separate, but I put the hook on the key ring, and I like to use these big, huge, thick ones because this will fit on pretty much anything, like a purse strap or anything. And if they want to make it a keychain, they've got the key ring here, the split ring. If they don't want to do it on a keychain, they can just dangle it from whatever, their purse or whatever, but I like to give the option. Then you're going to need some thick chain. You want it to be pretty sturdy. Then the links need to be kind of big so you can fit your dangles through, but you want it to be pretty sturdy chain because if you're anything like me, your purse gets banged and and bumped and thrown and everything else. So you want this to be pretty sturdy. And then you're going to need some smaller link chain that a jump ring will fit through so you can attach some things, like I showed you the flower that I've got on the chain, and the dragonflies are on chain. So you want to do that with some of these things, and I've got some extra here in case I want to like hang some of the beads longer. You're going to need several jump rings. Now, do not use thin little jump rings. If you do, they just have the potential to get messed up, to fall off or to get pulled open. You want to use thick jump rings. So they have to be able to fit through your oh my goodness, I can't even think. They have to be able to fit through your chain. You can't have them so thick that they won't go through there, but yet you need them to be fairly thick so that they won't pull open every time you turn around. So these, I don't know what gauge these are. I just went through my jump rings and picked out the thicker ones that I could find. Now, back when I first started beading and I was not very smart about it, I just put all my jump rings in together and I thought, what's the point in separating them out? So all the silver ones went in one container. Well, it's really a lot better if you don't do that, if you separate them out. But like I said, I wasn't real smart at that point, and so I did not separate them out, and so they're just all like in a big pile, and I just have to go through them. But I went through and picked out some of my thicker ones. Oh, and here's a little funny story. One of my sons, I still to this day don't know which one, neither one owns up to it, but one of my sons one day must have had a lot of time on his hands and needed something to do and went into my bead room and connected all of my jump rings together. Now that is a child who needs a hobby or who needed a chore or who needed to do his homework or something. But yeah, he went in my bead room and connected literally every jump ring that I had together in one big long chain. And let me tell you, that was quite difficult to get apart and a big pain. And still to this day, neither son will own up to that. So I don't know which one did it. But yeah, one or the other did that for me. So yeah, thank you if you're watching, Logan or Landon. I still remember that to this day. Thank you so much. And Sadie's barking at something. I don't know. My in-laws are coming over, but they don't appear to be here yet. So I'm going to try to get this video done before they come. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to make your bead dangles. So, like I said, there's all different kinds, all different shapes, all different sizes. Some have bead caps, some don't. Some have spacers, some don't. But here is the way that I make a loop. Now, I have the Easy Looper, whatever you want to call that tool, and I find myself not using it. I find myself just going back to the old-fashioned way because that Easy Looper, it's very hard to get down really close to your bead. So, I don't know. I mean, it is handy and I like it, but yet I don't use it. So, what I do is you put your beads on the order that you want them in. So, I've got a pearl and a big bead and a little kind of iridescent bead. And then you bend at a 90-degree angle your wire as close to your top bead as you can get, just at a 90-degree angle. And then I go out about this far. I don't know what this is, maybe half an inch or so. You don't want to go out too far because then your loop is going to be too long and will stand up funny. You don't want to go out too little or your loop won't close. So about a half an inch. It's usually my finger width or so, and that works for me. So then you get on the very end right here, and okay, so see how your chain nose pliers are graduated up? If I went up here, it would make a big loop, but I want a small loop, so I'm going down at the end. Okay, and you just hold it. My little bead is trying to escape. And you start rolling back, just like this. Take your plier out, roll back, and just keep rolling until you have the perfect little loop. It's really that simple, and I'm doing this for people who don't know, because not everybody is an expert or, experienced at jewelry making. Not that I'm an expert either, but I like to help out the people who are new. So you want to look at your loop, make sure it's closed very good. If it's not closed all the way and you can see any space, you just take your flat nose, chain nose pliers and just close it up. Okay? So that's how we make our dangles. So you need to make a bunch of dangles depending on how full you want your purse dangle to be. I can't talk today. What's wrong with me? All right, so I've got this length of chain, and this is about 8 inches, maybe 9 inches. And I'm not going to make it that long, obviously, but the first link, I want to go directly onto my split ring. I don't want to hook it on with a jump ring if I don't have to, so I'm going to do it like this. Make sure that it will go around, and it will, but I want it hooked directly on there because that's going to make it strong. It's not going to come off or have a jump ring that can open and come off. Okay, so you do that, and then you're going to take your jump rings, and you're just going to start connecting your bead dangles however you want them to go. So I want one of these dragonflies to hang from up here, I think, from this part of it, just so it highlights it a little bit. So I'm going to take one of my jump rings, and I'm going to use one of the thicker ones if I can. Now, if you have closed jump rings and they're thick, the easiest way to open them is to take your pliers, put one on one side of the split, the other on the other side, and twist like this. Okay? That's the easiest way to open these really thick ones. And it works for me. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this guy on here. If he'll go, and I hope he will. And sometimes you have to, you know, work with it a minute, but it'll usually go on if you play around with it a little. Or sometimes you've picked a jump ring that's too thick. No, it went on. Okay. So I'm just going to put this guy on here, on this jump ring, and I'm going to hook him right to this thing up here. And I want to do this just to highlight this one. And then if you can close it, then, you know, close it like this. If not, do the technique I just showed you. It works good on thick jump rings. But I think I can get it closed just using the tips here. You want to make sure that your ends meet. And if you have to kind of work it back and forth, make sure that your ends meet and it's closed up as good as you can get it, okay? And there is our little dragonfly. Now I'm going to start putting beads down the thing here. And you just want to make sure that you, I mean, this is totally up to your creative design. You do whatever you want. But you want to make sure that they're kind of evenly spaced. I like to anyway. So I'm going to put a big one at the top. I'm going to hook it right on this. Actually, I'm going to go down one just because I want that top ring to have room to move. Okay, and make sure with each jump ring that you close it very well. It's good to have on glasses if you need help with your sight like I do. And just make sure that you're getting every jump ring closed really, you know, thoroughly closed all the way, because you don't want these to come apart on somebody. And I like to try to put 2 dangles per chain link if I can. I like mine to be really full and, you know, just really chunky and full, but you don't have to do it that way. This is merely suggesting. That's all I'm doing, is suggesting a way to do something. So, okay. So there's those 2. And then I think I'll do this little heart. Now the little heart I may put on a piece of chain just so he can kind of dangle around a little. And so I'm just going to cut a piece of chain. Whoops, I'm sorry, hitting the camera. It's hard to film something, to make something when you've got a camera right in front of you. I'm not real coordinated anyway. I've never been accused of being too graceful. So yeah, I have coordination problems and issues, so it's hard for me to do it normally, but when I got a camera in front of me, it's really a challenge. Okay, so I hooked him right on there. This is the length that I cut, so I'm gonna get it off there, and then I'm gonna hook it on with another one. So let me tell you guys something. Look at this. Can you see that? Papers, the chain, everything. This, in this container, all mixed up together, is the last 6 months worth of bargain bead boxes. One of them is the new one that I hadn't even touched yet. So it had everything in there. The other 5 are ones that well, the Christmas one I hadn't touched either. So there were 2 complete bargain bead boxes in there. And the rest of them were, I don't think I've done the Christmas one. Maybe I did. No, I did do the Christmas one. So there were the one this month that I hadn't touched yet, and then 5 others that had the leftovers of what was left after I completed what I was doing with them. Okay, yesterday I keep them up I had them in a tackle box type container, you know, the kind that's got all the little drawers, little compartments in there. I had them in there, and they're up kind of high on a shelf, and I went to pull them down, and this was at 6 o'clock in the morning too. And I dropped it, and it came open, and all of my bargain bead boxes are mixed together now, and it was a disaster. And I am still picking beads out of the carpet. So that happened yesterday, and I was like, oh, and it was so early, and I was just like, I was devastated. You know, it was like, please. I mean, I can't believe I even did that. And you know the still small voice that speaks inside of you? And every time I would pull those down from that high shelf, that little still small voice, which, you know, you'd think I'd learn to listen to, it would say, you should move these because if you would drop this, they would go everywhere. And I'd be like, oh, I'm not gonna drop them to the still small voice. Well, I did. And thankfully, the still small voice didn't laugh at me and make fun of me. It just was like, yep, told ya. So, oh, I was so upset. And I'm not even going to try to separate them all out unless I get really bored one day and I'm just looking for like an organizational project. Yeah, I'm not even going to try. So, they're all mixed in together. And like I said, I was upset about that, but it is what it is. So that was my disaster that happened yesterday. And yesterday was my birthday too. So I was like, I don't know about this. This is a bad way to start out the day on your birthday. But I had a good day. So, oh, anyway. So anyway, you just go on here and you attach all of your little dangles to your very thick chain, making sure that they are very, very, they're closed very well. So I'm going to pause the video and continue attaching, and I'll be right back when I'm done. Okay, so we're back, and we have actually finished, I've actually finished attaching all of the dangles, and so this is what I've got, and it is just a really chunky, beaded dangle, a purse dangle, or a keychain, or whatever you want to make it be. It can hook onto a backpack. But yeah, I think these turn out really cute. Now, a couple things I wanted to tell you guys is in the beginning, I had this dragonfly on a big long chain and this flower on a big long chain hanging from up here, but they were just kind of out like in outer space, and I felt like they were going to get tangled on things really easily. And even this dragonfly up here was on a longer chain, but I decided to shorten them. This one I just hung directly from the bottom. The flower I put on a way shorter chain and hung kind of near the bottom because I don't want them to get stuck on things and tangled on things. The rest of them are hooked directly onto the middle chain, the core chain, by their jump ring. So I don't think, any of that will be a problem. But I just didn't want a bunch of loose ones hanging out. So you might want to just be careful of that. But yeah, just all you do then is attach all of your dangles, and I kind of hold mine up like this and look at it and see where it may need filled in, or what may still need to be done. But I think this one's looking really cute. It almost looks like grapes hanging on there, a cluster of grapes. But anyway, so this one's going in the mail to a friend, and I just wanted to show you guys my process while I did it and how I do them. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and it'll maybe inspire you to create some chunky dangles. These sell really well at craft shows and stuff. People like them. You kind of have to put a bit of a price on them because you're using a ton of beads, and they're lampwork beads and Jesse James beads, but I probably would put $20 on this. I don't know, maybe not that much, but if somebody really likes it, or they want it, especially at Christmas time, a lot of people order these. They like them for gifts. And my mom ordered a bunch for her teacher friends in the colors that they liked. So, one girl got all pink with, I think she liked hearts, or I can't remember, but anyway, you can do the theme like the dragonflies and then the colors that they like. So yeah, they make really cute little gifts and stuff. So alrighty, I am going to get off here and get some other stuff done, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.